What's up, guys? It's the Jeremy
and Carrie
Ask Us show. It is another beautiful day in Austin, Texas. We got construction happening all around us because we're in the boom town.
It's true.
So we got some great questions coming in today. We're talking about how much of my food should be organic. What about the grass-fed or free range?
Organic versus non-organic, and what should you choose? This question invited me to open up first about the Clean 15. Maybe you've heard of that, or the Dirty Dozen. Jeremy, have you heard of this Clean 15?
I don't know about it.
The cleanest foods, right? That they're have the least herbicides, pesticides sprayed on them, Clean 15. And then the Dirty Dozen, those that do tend to get the most spray and things that could harm us, right? That could go into our bodies. Clean 15, avocados, sweet corn, pineapple, onions, papaya, frozen sweet peas, eggplant, asparagus, cauliflower, cantaloupe, broccoli, mushrooms, cabbage, honeydew melon, and kiwi. Those are clean, guys. So if you're gonna pick that list, you can find this on the interwebs. You go to that list and go, you know what? I don't need to really focus on organic on those things. Do you know about that?
Interesting. No, I didn't know about that.
Dirty Dozen, there's 12 of them here. They say, you know what, if you have to pick some, I don't personally buy all organic, you guys, but in this selection, I can choose if I want to pick the organic ones here, because these are typically, again, the most sprayed. Strawberries, spinach, kale, nectarines, apples, grapes, peaches, cherries, pears, tomatoes, celery, and potatoes.
So, I mean, even going from that question, like, I think that we have to step back a few steps, if you will, and think about, like, what is our objective? What are we trying to accomplish? What is the economic impact to us and how we're pursuing, what it is that we're trying to achieve? And the thing that I think about first and foremost is that the human body and the human race is pretty resilient. And I think that there's a lot of things that we can overcome, because when we start to look at these higher orders of organic range, free range, all these concepts, we're starting to look at this very short, tight list. Whenever we look at processed foods, when we start thinking about sugar, we start thinking about fake fats, all these things that really start to negatively impact the body. So when I start to go up the order of priority, am I eating processed foods? That's the first thing I'm going to start looking at as I start to cut that out. And am I moving towards raw foods, vegetables, whole foods, and meats, right? And then what am I consuming the most of, and where am I sourcing that from? Where am I getting it? And then I start to walk up that ladder. So there's a lot of things that can come up with objections that, hey, I can't afford that, or A, that's not available to me. So we need to quantify what is really the best for me and where I sit and where I live, and what are my goals and objectives. So for me, that's where I would start to look at the prism of how I walk through the matrix, if you will, of where I'm going to make choices and decide, versus saying, grass-fed, free range, organic, that's the only way, that's how you must live to live a full, complete life. I don't agree with that. I think that you have to quantify what you're trying to achieve, being long-term life, holistic, or peak performance, all those aspects. I think it also comes down to like the Pareto's Law, 80-20, on what are you consuming the most of the majority of the time? What type of protein source are you consuming, and what types of eggs are you eating? This was brought to my attention by my wife, Miss Lisa, about like if I'm going to the grocery store and buying an 18-pack of eggs and I want to pay $1.50 for them versus $6 for them, but I'm eating eggs every single day, should I get the free range eggs versus the cheapest factory made eggs? That might be a decision of $4 that could greatly impact my overall health, that I'd be wise to choose a better egg source than the cheapest one possible. Because naturally for me, I go for the cheapest egg set possible, but with some reflection, maybe I want to buy the Central Market free range whole organic egg source. So I think those are some of the decisions that we can make. When I look at chicken in a can versus chicken off the shelf, what type of chicken am I buying in a can versus chicken that I'm buying off that I'm going to cook? So there's different processes, because one, on a cost. So I'm hypersensitive of cost. and what I can afford that's going to best meet the desire and demands that I want for my physical body and the health of me and my family. And then, what is above and beyond, like if I'm going to buy high quality Wagyu beef that is free range organic, like what is that, does that fit into my quadrant of cost and quality?
Strawberries, you eat them every day, organic, they go bad faster. Buy frozen. You can go into the frozen section and get frozen wild blueberries, organic, that will last you longer. You can still, and it's a better way to consume them. So I agree with the egg thing, or if you're eating those things. I eat tomatoes every day, seems like. So it's like, okay, where am I getting my tomatoes? Where are they sourced?
In the food wars, there's constant positioning of what is good and what isn't, what you should and what you shouldn't. It's about, for me, on this journey of the last 20 years, discerning foods, what works for me when I'm gluten intolerant, what works for my body type, protein and fat versus simple carbohydrates. We have to continue on the journey to find what best works for us, and then we have to make decisions off of those that best fits. And food is for enjoyment and pleasure as much as it is for nourishment. So how are we nourishing ourselves, enjoying pleasure of the food that we're consuming? I think if we do dial down and look at the organic, free range, humanely raised, all those aspects, I think they're important. It just depends on where you're at in that journey. So let's make it more personal, Carrie, for you. How do you do it personally?
I kind of follow along with you. I kind of look at the vegetables we eat the most of. If it falls in the range of needing to eat that and organic, because maybe that's more highly sprayed, then I'll pull back and eat that. Like romaine lettuce, we do a lot of that inside the house, so we'll get the organic for sure. So any kind of those greens, apples the same. So with that being said, then it goes to meat. I think too, we try and get I like a little bit of a fat, so a meat that's going to be more grass-fed, not typically grass-finished. You can't get that some places. The fat, remember, has all, if the animal's being given hormones, right, that's going to go into the fat, and then it's also going to be so leaner meats. So if you have to make a decision on that, get a leaner meat if you're not getting the organic, right? So get the less fatty, and then so you won't get all the things that those animals are being pumped with.
What is our beef source? Are we able to access a butcher that can get locally processed beef? Can you buy a
Meat
cow?
share.
Can you do meat share?
That's
There's
good.
just so many order your beef that's box shipped to you. There's so many different outlets that you can pursue, but again, it's going through what your financial situation is, what you can budget, what best works for you. And if you really want to go the distance, you can dial in and make it work for you, because I do believe you can be cost effective and eat a really clean lifestyle, and be smart with the approach.
I was just thinking about chocolate, buying cheap chocolate, or 80% dark chocolate, or even then fair trade. So I used to eat Twix, out of the Halloween basket is what I'm thinking, and I don't touch those things anymore. But if I want a nice piece of dark chocolate, then I'm also looking at fair trade. And so this, all of a sudden, but it's a system. It's just me processing through this, not being perfect. What does that even mean? And then just working through and trying to be the healthiest I can, and delivering that to you with the family.
Let's first, guys, get you off of processed foods and find great healthy alternatives to fill your cup, and so you can be healthy. And then if you need help with meal plans, we have great meal plans online. We also have nutrition coaching that can help you to discern what process you need to take to get you where you need to go. So again, having someone, because I think the investment in your nutrition and learning how to see food through the proper matrix can help you to have success for life. So wherever you invest, guys, I think that investing in the front end education is so vital. All right, guys, best of luck. Keep pursuing. You will find your way. Don't quit.
We're here to help.
All right, guys.